Thank you for appearing tonight. Where is the inland rail missing link at? The Narromine to Narrabri. Where is that?
Yep. Thank you, Senator. I can update you on that. So, Narromine to Narrabri section has completed all its planning approvals. So, the primary planning approvals, both at a state level and at a federal level, have been granted. We are in the process of voluntary land acquisition. To date on the section, we've completed around 23% of the land acquisition through the alignment. We're in the process of letting some preliminary design contracts to inform us around scope, schedule and engineering design. And we've commenced the Pilliga revocation process through the Pilliga Forest with the New South Wales Government. So, tracking well.
Thank you. Have any of the Queensland sections of Inland Rail started construction?
They haven't started construction, Senator. We are still in the planning processes in Queensland. Importantly, the very significant section from the New South Wales-Queensland border to Gowrie, the final I's are being dotted and T's are being crossed in relation to the EIS submission. We expect to lodge that with the Office of the Coordinator General during November, and it will be up to the Coordinator General as to the public exhibition, which we would hope would be underway this side of Christmas. Okay,
thank you. Has the ARTC been contacted by the Port Connects consortium wanting to build their 60-kilometre tunnel under Brisbane?
Well, Inland Rail, I have met with Martin Albrick and his team. Importantly, we've got very clear scope within Inland Rail, so it was really an inform for that connection group as to where Inland Rail was at around our planning processes, and they informed us as to their program of a 60-kilometre tunnel with the electric train model. But essentially, our scope of work does not include that, and we continue with the primary planning approvals from Gowrie to Kangaroo.
So have you seen a business case, environmental study and engineering details? We feel that the cost for inland rail is undercooked and the economic benefits overstated.
Sorry, Senator, could I just clarify that you're referring to the alternate route 60-kilometre tunnel
yes.
for $7 billion?
Yep.
I've not seen their business case, no.
Okay. What about the whole inland rail? Has a business case been developed?
The business case was developed some years ago, prior to my time, Chairman.
Been checked?
As the department outlined today, one of the recommendations under the Curie-Shutt review was to have a verification process. The department has just recently appointed an entity to assist with that verification process, and they're commencing works this month to verify both cost and schedule that Inland Rail has developed internally.
Has the alignment that it still goes across the inland rail alignment still goes across the Condamine floodplain? Have those engineering issues been resolved?
We believe so, Senator. There's been extensive work around erosion velocities associated with those black soils. We're about to commence embankment trials in that area to understand the shrink swell characteristics and the erosive characteristics of those soils. We've had an international flood panel, Queensland Government and the Commonwealth do an independent review of the flood solutions. So we do believe that we have a solution for the Condamine.
Have you had contact with the IPG Interport Global-led consortium offering to assist the Commonwealth Government to build the forestry route alignment to Ducklow, then along the existing alignment to Dalby, with Wellcamp and Brisbane freight heading southeast, and export freight heading north via Wandoan, Banana and onto the Port of Gladstone?
I'm aware of the proposal to Gladstone. I have not had engagement with that consortia, and the reason again is that it's outside the scope of Inland Rail and the approved project works that the Commonwealth has outlined for our project.
There seem to be many benefits to that route. The cost of that route, which is mostly along either existing alignment or state government land, no tunnelling, will be faster, technically feasible, not cross the Condamine floodplain, and will attract private investment. Minister, why is the Albanese government not seriously looking at the IPG consortium proposal?
I'd have to take it on notice, Senator Roberts.
Thank you. With regard, Mr Miller, to the current project parameters, I think is it parameters you used?
Yep.
If there's something attractive outside that, what would you do? What options do you have?
Well, essentially, we've got real clarity in terms of our current scope, but in any engineering solution, we look at options. We look at the consideration of engineering optionality, impacts on communities. We have locked the alignment, essentially, and we're going through an EIS process, and I think that's where it becomes critically important. The EIS, the environmental approval process, is effectively working with the community and the stakeholders to come up with a solution with the least impacts for that area. Now, we understand that building a 1,650 kilometre rail alignment up the inland of Australia is going to have impacts. Our duty is to minimise those impacts and consult with stakeholders and communities, and through the EIS approval process is how we're regulated effectively on the impacts.
So as I understand it, there are many cost benefits to terminating the inland rail at Gladstone, not Brisbane. Many for overall benefits to the nation in terms of cost of freight coming into the country, in terms of port access. There's a huge amount of land available at Gladstone. There are many things in favour, many factors in favour of Gladstone, and there are many hairs on Brisbane.
Senator Wayne Johnson, CEO ARTC. We have met with the consortium from Greenlink, who are proposing and considering...
Who's Greenlink?
Greenlink is the organisation you're referring to. That
IPG?
About Toowoomba to Gladstone. We have met with them, and as they go through their relevant approvals and development of their own business case, we've committed to them to be able to provide them any input to the types of operational information that help them on their way, as we do many adjoining infrastructure owners. Just to clarify though, Senator, it is really clear both our position and what's been proposed is a discussion about how they leverage the backbone of what inland rail is and its connection at Toowoomba, not a replacement of. That's my understanding, Senator.
What was the name of the company again?
Greenlink.
Greenlink.
Yes.
Is there any connection with IPG into Port Global?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. Sorry, Senator.
So you haven't had connection with IPG?
No.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.